Hey Ma, do you know what bursts my bubble?
What bursts your bubble, Andrew?
I haven't really been with a woman in years, and I went on Tinder, which is a hookup app, to meet women. But the women on Tinder seem to be more interested in having sex than having a relationship.
Well, isn't that what Tinder's about? Hooking up?
I mean, I guess some people go on Tinder to meet. I guess I'm pretty desperate, but even I don't want to, just have a hookup. Do you know what I mean?
Well, because I'm sure if they're just hooking up, they've done it before, and God knows what's...
You're filing your nails, and I wouldn't tell you to stop doing that, but that gives me the chills.
Chills, yeah. I think that these women probably have issues that, they have to go on these sites. So that makes me...
I was talking to my doctor, and he said, unfortunately, sex is a need. A human being really can't function without being intimate with a woman, and I haven't been intimate with a woman in a long time. And, solo things like masturbation, it's not the same as sex. It just isn't. It's no substitute. And that's why I want to go to these mental illness groups that help with friendship and dating, because I want to improve my social life. And I do struggle socially as well, because even when I go out with friends to Buffalo Wild Wings, they're all interacting, they're all socializing, and I'm kind of, within myself, not knowing how to interact. They're friends of mine, so they're understanding and non-judgmental, but
can't you practice that with your friends?
That was the doctor's idea, going to social groups, practicing and practicing socialization and recovering. We used the analogy building a house. Maybe going into work and school would be like putting the roof on the house when the walls aren't built yet. You know what I mean?
So being comfortable with being social before you get out there for that level of socialization, job / everyday routine.
I feel like I'm wearing the crazy scarlet letter. It's like extreme self-consciousness.
Yeah.
Like I go into Starbucks just for a cup of coffee, and I feel like everybody's focused on me. Everybody's like looking at me like I'm a mentally ill freak. But the reality is that's all in my head. It's extreme self-consciousness. They probably look at how handsome I am. They probably like, wow, this guy's ordinary. It's kind of a mental thing. You know what I mean?
But I think that that's not just mental illness. I think people do that in general. They think that other people are so hyper aware of what they're doing, and really in reality, everybody's lost in their own thoughts.
But obviously, without working and being on disability like I am, I like to spend money. I like to buy things. But if you don't work, you can't buy things. So I need to find a way to make money.
There are ways. There are online things. There are, people can do limited socialization type jobs where they can make a few bucks. There are things out there if you really look.
I mean, as we all know, I'm very theatrical, and I want to go back to school for theater and acting at some point. I would like to maybe make one of my, find a way to make money, whether it be audio broadcasting, theater acting, something on video, comedy. I would like to turn this into something that makes money.
What about a podcast? What is a podcast?
A podcast is kind of like a radio show, only it's on the internet. So, it's like a radio show, only you're doing it on the internet.
Can anybody make a podcast?
Yeah, sure, without a doubt. Anybody can make a podcast.
So if you could do, because there's such limited stuff on mental illness, if you could do a podcast where people call in and you have a talking type of group where everybody works on socialization, would that take off?
I think that's a great idea, and unfortunately, I need help. I actually have the equipment now. I bought a Snowball Ice, which is a really good microphone, so I have the equipment to make a podcast.
It has to be within the wheelhouse of what you have to be very careful, because when you're in a group or focusing on a group of people that may need more than just a support group, but a support group through a podcast for people that are lonely, that have emotional issues, that have psychiatric issues. Just getting out there and sharing some funny stories and feeling good with the holidays coming, I think a podcast is a great thing especially with your comedic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Obviously, my podcast would be comedic in some nature.
Having people talk about the funniest thing that happened to them when they're feeling low. I think that that's a great idea.
My psychiatrist actually kind of likes my point of my perspective on life, because a lot of people who suffer with mental illness don't have a comedic, funny way about them. They talk about how negative it is. I'm able to talk about my negative experiences and put like a funny twist to them. And you know, a lot of people would talk about psychosis and they're like, oh, it's horrible. And they would be like, oh, that's not funny. But I'm able to put a comedic spin to my mental illness, and that's an idea that really hasn't been done, or not very often.
Well, I really think that, like, that's why I'm pushing like a big organization like the Fountain, because if you could do a podcast from there, what great platform to take off to reach a community that so needs humor.
Yeah,
and so needs.
And even being, you know, getting their stamp of approval, it looks better than, oh, I'm making a crazy podcast from my house. You know what I mean? Getting credibility in the mental health community.
My thoughts are email Dr. G and
don't say the names.
Dr. G.
Yeah.
And see if you know, Dr. A could get you.
Dr. quote unquote, yeah.
A could get you in as doing something like that, making a web page even, so people that are lonely and sad through the holidays know where they can go, know where they can find a joke, tell a funny story, and then you could put it with your media background out there. How ticking the boxes is that?
That sounds like my dream, honestly. And
will make your dream come true. Use that platform. That's what I would do.
You're right.
That's what I would do. And that's what it is for me.
That is what it is. And recovery is a step-by-step process. Actually, he said it was like moving sand from one side of the beach to the other. I guess his point with that was like it was like erosion. Like even if you start moving sand over,
it erodes
the sand's going to erode. I liked my analogy, which was building a house, meaning like
the walls have to go up.
Yeah. But and obviously you have he didn't like the you know what analogy.
But that's very shrinkish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't like that analogy.
No, he didn't like that one.
Well, you know why.
Of course I know why. And you know, but like if you sit back and you're like, I want this house to be built. Why isn't this house getting built? You need to physically go. Don't talk the talk. Walk the walk. Start building the house, and it's not going to get made overnight. It's a slow process.
I'm telling you, those two things that you came up with in just this, what it is, are fabulous building steps to that arena, which I think because of your uniqueness. You want a cough drop?
Speaking of coughing, I cough pretty frequently. I call it the permanent cough, and I have hypochondria, so I automatically jump to worst case scenario. Why am I coughing so frequently?
Allergies.
Why is it a deep cough? It's probably allergies, but I think could I have the wucha disease? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And no, you don't have the wucha.
I know I don't have the wucha disease, but my psychiatrist says that's actually a form of that actually stems from the bullying. It's your body's way of bullying you. You know what I mean? So actually, it's that's
interesting.
That's what he felt.
Your body's way of bullying you, being a hypochondriac?
I don't know. Sometimes I say things, and this is like what I took out of therapy. Maybe I'm reciting it wrong, so don't quote me on it.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. It stems from bullying.
It's almost like a self-abuse.
Could be.
The worry. So
that is what it is.
It is.